These are 30 frugal living tips to save you money, and I added some of them to my habits on my long-term journey to truly create a dignified retirement. This has allowed me to start my investment fund and begin this year with the goal of saving $10,000. Starting with these savings and reaching these from here, and best of all, always enjoying my youth, sharing with my loved ones, and working to fulfill my most ambitious goals. Don't forget to watch this video carefully, because at the end of it, I'll leave you a small detail that I'm sure will help you both start and continue on this path of frugality. So, take a seat, relax, and let's get started. All the tips I will mention below are tips that I have used, and at the same time, I have done thorough research to bring you not only things that work for me, but also for other frugal individuals in this beautiful community. Tip number 1, paying yourself first. One reality that many adults don't face is that the money they receive for their work is not entirely theirs. A part is to maintain their body and mind, and the other part is to feed their inner child well, and if they have children, more for the children. What we focus on with this tip is defining an allowance for our inner child. This amount can be a low amount that simply allows you to indulge yourself every week. So, if your inner child wants something more expensive, they will have to save more from that allowance or earn a little more money to have more of what they want. Trust me, this tip will help you a lot to stay in control and motivated. Tip number 2, take some time for financial education. When I started living on my own, I won't lie to you, I felt like a failure because I earned very little money, and honestly, I had no hope for the future. But I started reading personal finance books, and the more I read, the more I began to realize that I could do more things with my money than just spend it on useless things. So, I informed myself with an authorized brokerage firm in the country, and I started my investment fund and have continued to put money into that fund since I started, even if it's a small amount, even knowing that it's not the best investment instrument, but it was what I knew, and more importantly, it was what I understood at that time. Tip number 3, fix it, don't replace it. With this tip, I would like to tell you something that happened recently with my little sister. She was about to start college, and my parents had to buy her a computer. But instead of buying a new computer, I decided to pay for the repair cost of a damaged computer that I already had to hand down to her. And as you may be wondering, is it always better to repair everything? The answer, as you may suppose, is no. But for this, you will have to get quotes and make the comparison every time you face this decision of whether to buy or repair. Budget and plan for Christmas. Alright, it may seem a bit crazy to think about budgeting for Christmas at this moment since there are many months left, and although this may seem like basic advice, it can save you a good amount of money. For example, I'm saving $20 per month, so by the end of November, I will have $220. With that money, I can take advantage of discounts like Black Friday to buy gifts. Keep in mind that planning gifts for people before the day you buy them will save you time and prevent you from spending more than you budgeted. Buy refurbished gadgets. Something interesting in the world of technology, games, or electronic devices is how quickly updates appear. So, if you are a fan of these things, I recommend looking for authorized secondhand electronic stores where you can save a few dollars and still experience the product. On the other hand, if you don't need the latest technology, it's a very good option to have devices that meet your needs at a good price. And this action also helps reduce mass production. Ask yourself key questions before purchases. I think this is one of the most important tips because it's about making conscious purchases. I know it's easy to buy on impulse, especially if you feel sad, frustrated, or stressed. But remember that instant gratification is just that, a moment of feeling good and then returning to the previous emotional state. So, before each purchase, think about why you're making the purchase and whether it will be useful in the long run or if it's something you want just for a moment. Weekly freezer night. This is very good because I know there are days when you come home from work and don't want to cook, and most likely you'll order something through food apps. A good way to avoid this is to use what's in your refrigerator and make a quick and tasty meal with the creativity you have. Shop for food fortnightly. Buying groceries every 2 weeks is quite useful because it limits your trips to the supermarket, saving on gasoline if you have a car or public transportation. Also, let's be honest, Sometimes we shop just because we like something at the store and not because it's necessary. So by going every 2 weeks, those expenses are more controlled. Cook once, eat twice. Cooking for several days in the week will help you have leftovers, and when you don't feel like cooking, you can eat something from what you have in the fridge instead of ordering delivery. Invest in your health. This point is very important because many of us don't have regular medical checkups, and I believe that creating habits where you go for a checkup once a year or every 6 months prevents long-term expenses. Remember, you are your best investment because if you are healthy, you can continue with all your projects and goals. But you may wonder, isn't going to the doctor very expensive here in the United States? A good alternative is to budget a trip to a Latin American country where healthcare is very good and also very affordable. Joy of less minimalism, living lightly, is something we must learn to do in this consumerist and accumulative world. By living lightly, we can enjoy the little things and celebrate the achievements we have. Multitasker products. Never buy things that you only use for specific actions, like apple peelers or pizza cutters, because you won't use them as much as you think. Instead, look for versatile items that can help you with multiple tasks. Quit the Ubers or taxis. It's necessary to look for alternatives that are good for you and also allow you to save money. For short distances, walking or using a bicycle can be a good resource. And for long distances, using the bus or subway can be a good alternative. Get a spending method to save. In many places, there are apps through which you can shop and generate discounts or accumulate points to be redeemed later. This is a good way to buy because it helps you save on future purchases while looking for what you need. Another way could also be through your credit card, as long as you feel capable of controlling your consumption desires, because with many cards, you accumulate points, which can even allow you to buy part of a plane ticket or a hotel stay. If you want to know more about these benefits, you can leave me a comment and I will make a video talking about it. Gift of services. One of the most beautiful ways to express appreciation and affection towards people, which is also free, is through acts of service. Helping with chores, accompanying someone in a difficult time creates memorable moments and makes people feel that they matter to you. Use cash when buying. This tip is very effective because seeing physical money makes your brain reconsider your purchase. I've experienced moments where I didn't buy something at the last minute because seeing the cash seemed too much. Another thing that can help is allocating a certain amount of physical cash for specific purchases and leaving your card at home when you go out to buy the things you budgeted. This will limit you to only using the cash you have. Buy generic brands. It's incredible how prices skyrocket when it comes to buying clothes, shoes, utensils, or other items depending on the brands. I'm in favor of buying durable things instead of cheap ones because in the long run, that's more expensive. But what I mean here is that there are many good quality stores that aren't necessarily recognized brands, but in where you can find what you need, durable things that don't cost much. Move to a cheaper area. This is something I've already mentioned in previous videos, but I won't get tired of mentioning it because it's one of the ways in which you can save a good amount of money. This doesn't mean moving to the cheapest or least liked neighborhood. It means looking for nearby places that allow you to save on rent and gasoline. For example, last year I was renting a very nice 2-story house, but to save more, I decided to move to a nearby neighborhood. The house is 1 story, but I still have everything I need, just the right space at a good price. No spend day, week, month. Take it slowly, because if we start wanting to spend nothing for a prolonged period of time, it can be very frustrating, but we can start with 1 day, then 2, and then 3, and so on. Remember to do things as far as you feel comfortable. If you want, you can create a routine where 2 or 3 days of the week you spend only on necessities. Check your bank account regularly. To maintain good control of our financial life, it's very necessary to be aware of your movements and how your bank account is. This will make us aware if we spend more than expected and what we can do about it. It's like not walking blindly. Meal planning. This is something I'm currently putting into practice. Working 10 hours a day makes it very difficult for me to cook every day, so I've started planning my meals for the week. This way, I don't spend on food deliveries during the week just because I didn't have the time or desire to cook. What I usually do is use Saturday morning to prepare and cook the food for the week. I won't deny that it's tiring, but it has allowed me to bring my own food to work, healthy and cheap. Don't shop hungry. This is very basic but important because when we go to a store, supermarket, or mall hungry, we tend to buy more. Think about the last time you went to the mall and bought something because you were hungry. Let me know in the comments below your experience. Try to go out after meals, or if you can't, take a snack from home to nibble on while you're out. Track everything. This is very useful because you'll realize where your money is going. It's also very useful for making your budget and making it honest and fairly accurate. Work your own plan. I really like this tip because everyone has their own habits, income, and customs. That's why the things that work for me may not work for you. So I encourage you to take the things that are useful to you and apply them according to all these unique characteristics, and also can create your own plans. Sell your unwanted items. Many times we have things that we don't want or need anymore and that are in good condition, but they're just gathering dust at home. I encourage you to sell them because you'll generate some extra money and you won't have more things to clean. Capsule wardrobe. A good way to stop spending so much on clothes is to create a capsule wardrobe. This wardrobe consists of buying basic clothing pieces with which you can put together different outfits without the need to add more clothes. They're quite useful, and this way you won't buy things that can only be used once or with a specific piece. Get a roomie. Many of the things we need nowadays are designed to be paid between two people, or you'll need to have a good income. One way to cushion those big expenses is to get a roommate, someone who shares with you the same habits. This to avoid conflicts. Don't be afraid to be selective, because this will be a person with whom you'll share the spaces of your home. Automate your savings. Finally, tip number 30. This consists of making an arrangement with the bank or having an extra account where you can deposit your savings as soon as you receive your pay. This way, not even a full day passes in your payroll account, avoiding temptations to spend it. And to finish, this is the whole list I just mentioned to you. Down in the description, I've left you a spreadsheet where, depending on which tip you're using, you can write a note about what it represents in savings for you and how you feel about that tip you're implementing. And if you're using a different one, write it in the comments so we can continue helping each other on this path to frugality and abundance.